It's a dark road and a dark way that leads to my house, and the words say...
Hey everybody, wow, it's been busy. Anyway, so Miss Vital Survival, whose channel has a tiny number of subs and deserves an awful lot more, I believe she's still based in New York City, so her prepping is normal prepping. I would say normal prepping, not acute, extreme, crazy prepping, and within the context of her having children and a family and living in New York City. So please check her out, the link's below. She did a video where she talked about that she felt, me too was the hashtag, that probably would trigger a few right-wing people, but she talked about sexual assault in shtf. And I'll get into that in a minute, because this video is a video response to her. This video is also a video response to another small channel that I subscribe to, Marauder Prepper. That's a small channel because of the host. That channel probably at this point would be 1,000 or more subs. If it wasn't now not on its 4th reincarnation, because the host keeps just deleting it. And he pops in and pops out of various YouTube channels and marauds us all. He was at one point known as an angry prepper. So I recommend you check him out. Let's build his numbers up so he can cancel his channel again, leave us all bereft. So basically, and I'm paraphrasing and I'm not getting it right, but what I took out of Miss Vital Survival's video was that preppers, specifically female preppers and parental preppers, need to be very conscious of the fact, in her opinion, in shtf, which she felt will be a long and evolving and slow economic collapse caused by climate, caused by economics, caused by war, whatever. She felt that it won't just be we turn the lights off one day and we're all done as a society, but it would be a long and progressive slow collapse. And she felt that the risk of sexual assault, specifically rape and pedophilic attacks on children, would be increased dramatically during that type of event, and that people need to take that on board and actually figure out what they're going to do in response. I'm just going to have a coffee. I'm really hoping I get my hair cut. I do need a shave, I know. And I've got some stuff to do, and I'm hoping to get to the post office today to finally post some stuff for LA Prepper and Home Plate Prepper and Joe Primal. Anyway, enough me. So Marauder Prepper, in his usual way, decided to interact with her a little bit online, and luckily I think she realised who it was, because he's a little bit acerbic when he pops his little comments in, and people don't realise who it is and why he's doing that. It's his style. Anyway, he did a very fascinating video. Again, I'm going to link that below. And one of the great things of that video is Mama Prepper. She's his camera person, and she actually talks huge sense during that video for quite a lengthy period of time, and agrees with Miss Vital Survival. Marauder Prepper initially said sexual assaults would decrease in shtf for reasons he listed. He's now kind of shifting his ground to it will be the same number of sexual assaults as it is now. I think they're both wrong and right, and I'll explain why. I think we don't comprehend what shtf, a fall of society, not an ice storm or a Katrina, but a fall of society that's ongoing without possible end as far as the participants can see, what that would mean. I don't think we get it. I don't think we can get it. I think people can talk all they like online, talking head videos like this, and you can say this will happen and this won't happen, you need to do this. None of us know. We don't have a clue. We've never been through it as a people, we've never been through it as individuals. What we're doing is best guess preparation. Preppering is looking at all different combinations of possible events that could be adverse for you personally or your society or your family, all possible combinations, and coming up with multiple types of response to avoid, preferably, or mitigate the bad effects of those possible events. And it is more than just having lots of guns and ammo and 3 months of MREs, as I'm sure you picked up from what I've been saying. You really need to be imaginative and comprehensive in preps. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I spend far too much money on it, far too much time on it, but it's my hobby for now. So Miss Vital Survival was saying that in a slow collapse scenario, the opportunities for sexual assault would vastly rise. She said that to get food you would have to go down on your knees. To have a job or keep your job in that sort of an economic environment, you'd have to get down on your knees. You wouldn't have much cause to actually say no. And she asked the question, I thought it was reasonable, what would you do if your spouse, your loved one, was in that position? My response, that I wasn't kidding, was I would kill the person doing that. In a slow economic collapse, I think there'd be plenty of opportunity for revenge. She said revenge. I actually see it as proactive for helping society. If you have people in positions of authority and power who are making people suck their penises or have sex with them unwittingly, and they can't do anything about it because of X, Y, and Z, and law enforcement cannot do anything about it for X, Y, and Z, I don't see anything particular wrong with killing them. Morally, that's bad. From a legal point of view, that's dreadful. Certainly not suggesting that in the now. But in a collapse situation, I think basically law and order will be whatever I decide it is, right or wrong. I also will have the negative effect to that. People will decide what I'm doing is right or wrong, will act accordingly. Of course, that's why it's a world without law. There will be law, it will be individual, personal, kind of horrific. That said, Wes S, another excellent channel, which I'm also going to link in this, came up with some research, scientific research, which he'd read and put out there, which is actually great. What I got out of that research was that I on my own make a life or death decision, I'm likely to make a morally great one. If I bring one more person into the scenario to help me spare my guilt in making the decision, we're actually likely to kill them. So an individual making a life or death decision is likely, unless they're psychopathic, to make the right one. So yeah, so my answer to that one was if somebody's extracting sexual favours from my loved ones and they can't do anything about it, and law can't do anything about it, in a collapse scenario, if it's safe and possible, I'll probably kill them. Not my loved one, but the person doing it. They won't be able to do it to anybody else. Harsh but true, that's what I would do. Now, Marauder Prepper focused on sexual crimes would be less likely. His scenario for that was people aren't going out much, communities are going to be much tighter, people are going to be very much more with their spouses, so that's unlikely to happen. Mama Prepper and Miss Vital Survival as well in a video, but Marauder overlooked it. Mama Prepper very clearly said that most sexual assaults in today's society are caused by friends and family, and that is absolutely true. It isn't the pedophile registered living down the street. It's your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your family friend. Now bear in mind, most pedophiles groom the parents to get access to the children. Also bear in mind, there's very few pedophiles. Very few. You won't get that impression from a lot of prepper sites, and you won't get that impression from mainstream media, but the chance of having a child and having the child sexually assaulted and dumped and raped is pretty low. Thankfully. Good. And I think that would be fairly true in SHTF. What I think in SHTF in a slow collapse scenario is that you won't actually need, as a pedophile, to commit crime. Pedophilia, sexual activity will be very easily available to you. And I'll explain why. In our society we have a prolonged childhood. For example, right now I'm 53. So I'm nearing the end of my early teenage years mentally and emotionally. But in SHTF, once a child can carry water for 4 to 6 hours without dying, childhood ends. Once society ends. There's lots of videos out there about how to keep children amused in SHTF, and in a minor event, that's a great video. In an ongoing, not ending SHTF event, childhood ends as soon as the child can work. The child then becomes an adult. I foresee in SHTF, 12-year-old, 11-year-old girls will be regularly marrying 53-year-old guys. I'm not going that route. I wouldn't now, I wouldn't if I was able to in SHTF. Hi Becky. I think it's morally wrong. I'm not really that attracted to children, but it will happen. It will happen a lot, and society will condone it. Society will accept it. They accepted it in the 1800s, they accepted it in the 1700s. Literature, Romeo and Juliet. If you haven't read the play or seen the play, I guess you can watch one of the many film versions of glossy Hollywood, but you won't get what the book is about. What the book is about is a 12-year-old girl having sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old boy. And the parents not liking it because the parents hate each other. There's no sensation anywhere in Romeo and Juliet that a 12-year-old having sex with a 14-year-old is at all abnormal. Because it was not abnormal. And society will change. Society's cultural norms will change. Now, how about protecting yourself? Now, everybody's going to scream, my wife's got a gun, she'll just blast them. As Miss Vital Survival very correctly pointed out in shtf economic collapse scenarios, they may well need that food, they may well need that job, they may well need that shot of tetanus for their child. So it's not going to be as black and white cowboys versus Indians as everybody seems to suggest on a lot of their videos. I try not to suggest that on my videos, I try and make it grey, which opens me up to assault in the comment section, which is great if it's constructive assault. Because I really don't know what's going to happen, I don't know if anything will even happen, and I don't know where it's going to go, so I give my opinion on it. So my opinion on shtf sexual assault is that it will increase dramatically, but it will be seen less dramatically. What I mean by that is slapping a girl's buttocks, making a lewd joke, grabbing somebody's breasts. In most places, in most societies, in shtf, in a prolonged shtf, will just be seen as it used to be seen in the 1950s and 60s. Boys being boys. Girls will have to suck it up again. I also think, and neither of them really touched on this, that most preppers vastly underestimate the use of sexual assault on males, by males, and also by females. It's deemed to be not important, not a big deal. And it kind of is, actually, a big deal. A sexual assault is always an assault. So I think the criteria for what is a sexual assault would change. Society's normals would change. And I think at the end of the day, if I object, I'm the law. I'm Judge Dredd. And if I can, I'm going to deal with the people that do that to me and my loved ones as harshly as I feel fit. And I hope that doesn't happen. But one of the things neither of them really went into is how to proof your children against this. They said, and they're right, the best way to stop pedophilia is to get between the pedophile and your children. Well, yeah, obviously, surveillance, control works. What really works is to bring up children who are smart, intelligent and thoughtful and able to interact with their environment, able to adjust to hostile events and deal with them properly, independently as required. And I think, and I'm not knocking Miss Survival or Miss Vital Survival or Marauder Prepper on this one, because from what I can tell, they're actually doing that, and I think that's basically the best bet. Now, what do you do if there's a war situation? Well, in war situation, all bets are off. There'll be mass rapes of women by the opposing forces. There'll also be mass rapes of the supposed enemy by local forces. Rape's been used for many, many years in war and still is, and will be used. And I think that's something people need to expect and protect themselves from, because rape is an unpleasant experience, and I'm in no way trying to downplay the experience of rape, but it really is not about the victim. You did nothing wrong. This means nothing. They're a piece of crap that did it to you. That's it. There should be no shame. There should be no hiddenness. There should be no societal repercussions if you are raped in wartime. Really. You need, especially if you're on the far right of the religious perspective, you really need to get a grip. It is not ever the fault of the victim for being raped or sexually assaulted. Ever. I don't care what they're doing, how drunk they are, or what they're wearing. Rape is as a male, I'm deemed to be a rapist by a lot of people. I'm not. I'm really not. It's like pedophilia. I can't go there. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It's not attractive to me. I'm not into that. It's not my thing, right? If you're lying there drunk and you look sexy, I can't imagine wanting to crawl on top of you and do stuff. The people who are doing that for power reasons, and most sexual assault is to do with power. Some of it's to do with desire, and I think desire will be easily fixed in SHTF by large-scale brothels. I also think in SHTF normal family arrangements will change. I think you'll see men with multiple wives again. I actually also think, and I hope to see, because I think it's reasonable, women with quite a few guys with them. I expect to see kind of arrangements like that, matriarchal society reinventing itself, because matriarchal society actually is a very effective society in the small scale. It's not very effective at waging war, but it is very effective at survival. So I hope you got something out of this video. If you watch Miss Survival's video, you definitely will get something out of that. And please subscribe, she's great. And watch Marauder Prepper's video. You probably won't get a huge lot out of it, but Mama Prepper, Mama Marauder? What are we calling it? Anyway, Mama has some really smart things to say about pedophilia, and check him out. And for giggles, I'll throw Wes S's video into it about guilt and end-of-life decision-making by individuals and groups, because that's also a useful thing. So this has been a bit long, but it's okay. Have a great day, and from Hoople's Cat, au revoir, and I hope it never happens.
What's the time? It's time to get ill! What's the time?